Ever thought about what creates the depth in Japanese food? The answer is dashi stock. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to make the basic awase dashi made with two key ingredients, dried bonito flakes and kombu kelp. Watch until the end for extra tips on how to make the most of your ingredients and time-saving budget-friendly alternatives to homemade dashi. You can also find this recipe on my website along with 400 Japanese recipes. Just Google awase dashi space sudachi to find the written recipe. I'm going to start by placing 5 to 10 grams of kombu in a pot. There are all kinds of kelp out there, from the cheap kind to the premium kind, but when it comes to everyday home cooking, hidaka kombu is the best choice. Here's a tip too, don't wash your kombu. You might notice a white powdery coating on the surface, but it's actually a natural flavor enhancer made of glutamic acid and mannitol. If you spot any sand or dust, just gently wipe it off with a damp cloth instead of washing. Pour 1 liter of cold water into the pot. For the best results, use soft water. Soft water effectively extracts the umami from kombu and dried bonito flakes. Soak the kombu in the water to rehydrate it. This will take at least 30 minutes, but you can soak it for up to 24 hours if you got the time. I use 10 grams, but you can use less. Just keep in mind that with less kombu, you want to soak it longer. If you're soaking it for more than a few hours, just cover it and put it in the fridge. After the extraction, put your pot on medium-low heat and let the kombu and water warm up gradually. This gentle heating process takes about 10 minutes, but trust me, it's worth the patience to extract those rich flavors. Watch the edges of your pot for tiny bubbles starting to form. Also, don't let it boil. Boiling kombu will release bitter compounds and we definitely don't want that. Once you spot those tiny bubbles around the edges of your pot, it's time to take out the kombu. Remove the kombu when the water reaches between 60 and 64 degrees Celsius, which is 140 to 150 Fahrenheit, which is basically when small bubbles start to appear. Then turn up the heat to medium and let the liquid come to a boil. This quick boiling step helps get rid of any strong kelp smell. Just keep an eye out for any foam or scum on the surface, and if you see any, simply skim it off with a fine mesh strainer or spoon. This will ensure your dashi is nice and clear, not cloudy. Now pour in 100 ml of cold water. This replaces the water the kombu absorbed and helps lower the temperature a bit. Turn the heat down to its lowest setting and gently add 2 handfuls of your bonito flakes. Make sure to let those flakes sink naturally. Resist the urge to stir or poke them. Give them 3 minutes to steep. If your stove is a bit temperamental with a low heat, no worries, you can just turn it off completely and let the bonito flakes steep for 5 minutes instead. Awase dashi is special because it's like a perfect band where every instrument plays its part just right. It doesn't overpower your dish, instead it creates this amazing umami foundation that makes every other ingredient shine. To be more specific, the rich umami comes from glutamic acid from kombu and inosinic acid from katsuobushi. Finally, let's drain the dashi. Grab a fine mesh sieve and line it with either a piece of cheesecloth or paper towels. Set it over a heat-proof bowl. Pour your dashi through this setup, which is important for getting that beautiful clear broth since those bonito flakes are really fine. Resist the urge to squeeze or press those strained bonito flakes. I know it's tempting, but this will only release bitter compounds and mess with the delicate flavors we've worked so hard to create. Did you know you can actually make dashi twice from the same ingredients? Just like squeezing a second cup from a single tea bag. This first extraction is called Ichiban-Dashi and Niban-Dashi for the second. By the way, if you want to make the most of your fresh Ichiban-Dashi and make a clear soup, take 300 ml of your strained dashi and combine it with 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, 1/2 tablespoon of sake, and 1/2 teaspoon of uskushi shoyu. That's Japanese like soy sauce. Just warm this mixture over low heat for about 2 minutes. This quick step helps all those flavors come together beautifully. Now let's make sure we get our money's worth with a second extraction. Use the Kombu and Bonito flakes from your first dashi and put them back in the pot. Add 1 liter of fresh water and toss in another handful of fresh Bonito flakes. Put it over medium heat and let it come to a boil. Once it's boiling, turn the heat down to medium-low and let it simmer for 10 minutes. If you see any foam or scum floating up, just skim it off. Unlike our first dashi where we had to be very careful, this second extraction actually gets better with a longer simmer to extract all those remaining flavors. Finally, strain everything again just like before. Unlike our first dashi where we had to be gentle, you can actually press and squeeze these solids to get every last bit of flavor out. So go ahead, no need to be shy about it this time. We want to extract all those remaining flavors. I recommend letting it cool first though. I lived in England for several years, so I totally get how expensive Bonito flakes and kombu can be outside of Japan. In restaurants in Japan, these ingredients are used generously because dashi is their lifeline. But here's the thing, you don't need restaurant quantities at home. Like even now that I'm back in Japan, I still catch myself wincing when measuring out lots of katsuobushi. You can still make great dashi with more modest amounts. This recipe is optimized for home use. And remember, it's all about finding a balance that works for your budget and cooking style. There's no point if it's not sustainable. If you're planning to store dashi and use it within a week, the fridge is your best bet. Just remember to let your hot dashi cool to room temperature first, then pour it into an airtight container or jar. If you're planning on storing it for a while, let it cool completely, seal it up in an airtight container, and it'll keep in the freezer for up to a month. In fancy Japanese restaurants, Ichiban-Dashi and Niban-Dashi have very different roles. Ichiban-Dashi is the premium ingredient. It's delicate and perfect for clear soups where every subtle flavor counts. It's a huge deal. In fact, a head chef with over 30 years of experience told me that first extraction is the most nerve-wracking part of his workday. Then we've got this Niban-Dashi. It might not be as fancy as Ichiban-Dashi, but it's perfect for heartier dishes like miso soup and simmered foods. But you don't need to think too much about it for home cooking. One more tip before I go, you don't always have to make dashi from scratch. There are some easy alternatives like granulated dashi and dashi packets which look like tea bags. In my opinion, when I need dashi as a base flavor for soup, noodles or hot pot dishes, I much prefer tea bag style dashi packets over granules. Why? Granules can often make the flavor a bit blurred when you use a lot of them since they contain various ingredients and additives. But tea bag dashi packets have a cleaner taste at least. That said, I do reach for the granules when I just want to add a quick touch of Japanese flavor to stir fries or other non-soupy dishes. Of course, your options might be limited depending on where you live. Sometimes granules are all you can find. That's totally fine. The best method is the one that works for you and your kitchen. Want even more delicious recipes? Grab my free cookbook from the link in the description. Okay, let's go over the ingredients one more time. And if you're ready to cook, grab the written instructions by clicking the full recipe box with a picture that's about to pop up on your screen. Here we go, the link to the full recipe is on the screen now, and if you want to watch more, don't miss my classic recipe playlist popping up on your screen as well. Thanks so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.